Hi everyone, my name is Zoe Williams and I'm the Youth Services Librarian at University Park Public Library. Some of you might know me from the library, but if we haven't had the chance to meet yet, then I hope you'll come say hi next time you're here. We are celebrating Arbor Day today in the state of Texas, so I wanted to share with you my very favorite book about a tree. It's called As an Oak Tree Grows, and it was written and illustrated by Brian Karras. As an Oak Tree Grows by Brian Karras. On a sunny late summer day, a young boy planted an acorn in the ground. You see his little acorn? When do you think this was in history? Are there any clues that tell us when this might have been? Looks like there's a hut here, and the little boy maybe wearing a piece of leather around his waist. And then we see a canoe out here in the water. Looks like it might have been a really long time ago, huh? Later that year, an oak tree sprouted up from the earth into the air and light. It says it's the year 1775. So that's over 200 years ago. Each fall it will shed its leaves, and each spring new ones will grow. The boy grew up and moved away. Farmers now lived here. They cleared the hillsides where forests once stood, and the wood was used for building and to burn in fireplaces. But the oak tree was left standing. There's our oak tree. The oak tree had room to spread wide and grew upward and outward. Can everyone stretch their arms wide, up and out like a big tree? Sometimes snow was very heavy and a branch would break off. See, it's now 1825, so our tree is already 50 years old. It's very old. As the oak tree grew, everyone and everything was on the move. Children grew. Some stayed to work on the farms and others left to work in factories. Ships came and went. Large engines rumbled along steel rails. Birds perched in the oak tree to rest from long migrations. Some stayed and made new homes, and others flew on. More people arrived and built new houses and buildings. Some years little rain fell. Hills and fields were dry where trees had once stood and shaded the ground from the sun's rays. The oak tree's roots reached far underground for water as its leaves wilted. You see some brown leaves because it's so dry? Farmers conserved what little they had for thirsty livestock. That means cows and horses, things like that, until the rain fell again. So now the tree is 100 years old. Electricity came through wires that were strung over hills and through valleys. It powered street lamps and homes. The land twinkled with lights as stars faded in the night sky. The oak tree grew slowly and steadily while all around it life sped by. People rode in cars to go to work and visit friends, to go shopping, or just for a drive. Soon the air was filled with jet contrails and radio waves and sound waves of beeping cars, barking dogs, zooming motorboats, whistling trains, and music. It's 1950. This tree is almost 200 years old. Do you see how it's almost taking up the whole page? It's so big. The oak tree is 200 years old now. It has shed its leaves and grown new ones every year. Animals, birds, and insects have made homes in its folds and holes and branches. And look, what is that? Looks like someone has made a tree house, doesn't it? The oak tree with its strong roots, trunk, and limbs has survived many storms over its lifetime. Now a fog rolls in and a big storm is on the way. The storm is powerful and the oak tree is split in two. It does not survive this storm. People come to look where the great oak tree once stood. The tree is cut into pieces to be used for furniture, firewood, and mulch. Do you see how the city has grown up all around it? A new day dawns. Once again, the ground is warm and welcoming as a new oak tree grows. You can see all the tree rings from our old tree. The end. Well, everyone, thank you so much for reading and sharing that story with me. I'm so glad that we could celebrate Texas State Arbor Day together, and I wanted to share a little bit of information about the book that we read. So the tree in that book is a white oak, and they do grow in Texas. You can find them here, and they can live to be over 200 years old, like the one that we saw in the story, and over 100 feet tall. So I think that's pretty impressive. And a tree that we see a lot in Dallas is the live oak, and I think that might be my favorite tree of all. It's just so beautiful. So next time you're driving around or maybe on a walk around the park or at a playground, try to figure out what kind of trees are around you, and you can talk about the shape of the leaves or the texture of the bark, things like that with your family. So thanks again for reading with me, and I hope to see you around the library soon.